We are diving into the weird, the wild, and the actually useful side of Temu today. We aren't looking for cheap plastic toys. We are hunting for legitimate tactical advantages, survival tools, and self-defense gadgets that might just save your skin when things go sideways. From diversion safes that fool the smartest thieves to impact weapons hidden in plain sight, we have curated a list of 27 items that you can legally own, and wait until you see. Number 1, it is an absolute game changer for home defense. Quick heads up before we lock and load, you can grab every single one of these gadgets right from the links in the description below. Just remember, the prices mentioned here are what we are seeing right now, around $1.49 to $14.49. But Temu sales fluctuate faster than stock markets, so check the current listing. Let's get into it. Number 27, self-adhesive camouflage wrap. Price, $1.49. Let's start with something that seems basic, but is actually one of the most versatile tools in a tactical loadout. We are talking about a modification tool that changes the physical properties of your existing gear. This isn't just tape. If you have ever held a pair of binoculars, a flashlight, or a knife handle in the pouring rain or with sweaty palms, you know that tactical black usually means slippery plastic or cold aluminum. This wrap is made from a porous, non-woven fabric that contains natural latex. The magic here is that it is cohesive, meaning it sticks to itself, but not to your gear. You can wrap the handle of a combat knife, the barrel of a flashlight, or even the stock of a rifle, and when you peel it off 6 months later, there is zero sticky residue. It's cleaner than duct tape and offers significantly more grip. For $1.49, you are getting a roll that stretches to about 4.5 meters. Beyond just grip, this serves two critical tactical functions: silence and light discipline. Metal carabiners banging against a metal canteen cup creates a noise signature that can give away your position instantly in a hunting or stealth scenario. Wrapping your metal gear in this fabric dampens the sound immediately. Furthermore, shiny black anodized aluminum reflects light. By wrapping your gear in a matte camouflage pattern, you break up the visual outline of the object, making it harder for the human eye to recognize it as a man-made tool in a natural environment. It also provides insulation. Touching freezing cold metal in winter sucks the heat right out of your hands. This creates a thermal barrier. It's a $1.50 upgrade that makes a $50 flashlight feel like a $100 piece of kit. Number 26, wall clock diversion safe. Price, $14.49. Moving from the field to the living room, we need to talk about the psychology of theft. When a burglar kicks in your door, they are on a stopwatch. They usually want to be in and out in under 8 minutes. They are looking for the obvious: jewelry boxes on the dresser, cash in the sock drawer, electronics on the TV stand. They are operating on adrenaline and visual scanning. They do not look at the boring, functional items on the wall. This functional timepiece is built with a hinged face that swings open to reveal a hollowed-out rear compartment. It is thick, robust, and offers enough internal volume to stash a significant amount of emergency cash, gold coins, passports, or even a small defensive tool like a pepper spray canister or a micro-compact pistol, depending on the dimensions. The clock mechanism runs on a standard AA battery, so the hands move and it keeps time. This is the critical element of the deception. If a thief glances at it, their brain registers clock 2:15 p.m. and they move on. At $14.49, this is the cheapest insurance policy you can buy. Unlike a heavy steel safe, which screams, "I have valuables inside," and often encourages thieves to try and pry it open or take the whole safe with them, this relies on security through obscurity. It utilizes the wasted space on your wall. The silver or metallic finish blends into almost any kitchen, office, or garage decor. The key here is placement. You hang this high enough that it requires effort to reach, but low enough that you can access it in an emergency. It's perfect for a bug-out fund, that stash of cash you keep on hand for natural disasters when card readers go down. A thief isn't going to pull a clock off the wall unless they are incredibly desperate or have unlimited time, neither of which usually applies to a standard smash and grab. Number 25. Tactical Wrist Compass. Price $2.99. We rely heavily on GPS. Your phone, your smartwatch, your car, they all talk to satellites. But batteries die, screens crack, and in a true grid-down scenario or a deep wilderness excursion, electronic signals can be jammed or blocked by heavy canopy and canyon walls. When the lights go out, analog is king. This unit mounts a fluid-filled magnetic compass onto a ruggedized strap that functions exactly like a wristwatch. For $2.99, you are buying situational awareness that doesn't require a charging cable. The tactical advantage of a wrist-mounted compass over a handheld one is hands-free operation. If you are trekking with trekking poles, carrying a rifle, or scrambling up a rock face, you don't want to stop, dig into your pocket, and level a compass. You want to be able to glance at your wrist and confirm your heading instantly. The strap is usually a tough nylon or resin designed to take a beating against rocks and brush. The compass housing itself is often protected by a slightly raised bezel to prevent the acrylic face from getting scratched up. While it's not a precision survey tool for mapping property lines, it is perfect for hasty navigation, knowing roughly where north is so you don't walk in circles. Many of these models on Temu feature luminescent markings. If you charge it with a flashlight for a few seconds, the north arrow glows, allowing you to maintain bearing during night maneuvers without turning on a bright light that would ruin your natural night vision. It's low-tech, high-reliability gear that weighs practically nothing but keeps you oriented when technology fails. Number 24. Aluminum Kubaton, $1.48. Sometimes, the most effective self-defense tools are the ones that look the least threatening. To the untrained eye, this looks like a harmless, albeit sturdy, keychain fob. Maybe a piece of modern art or a blunt pen. In reality, it is one of the oldest and most devastating close-quarters combat CQC tools in existence. Originating from Japanese martial arts, this version is machined from lightweight, aircraft-grade aluminum. It won't rust, it won't crack, and it weighs almost nothing in your pocket. For $1.48, you are getting a force multiplier. The concept is simple. It concentrates the full force of your punch into a tip roughly the size of a dime. If you punch an attacker with a bare fist, the impact is spread across your knuckles. If you strike with this, that same energy is driven into a tiny surface area, causing intense, debilitating pain even through heavy clothing. It is designed with finger grooves to prevent it from slipping out of your hand upon impact. You hold it in an ice pick grip, with a thumb capping the top for stability. This turns your hand into a hammer. It is particularly effective for pain compliance techniques, digging the tip into pressure points on the wrist, forearm, or neck to force an attacker to release their grab. Because it isn't a blade, it is legal to carry in many places where knives are banned. Always check your local laws. Of course. It also doubles as a glass breaker in an emergency. If you are trapped in a car, the hardened aluminum tip is strong enough to shatter a side window with a solid strike. It's the definition of better to have it and not need it. Number 23. MOLLE Water Bottle Holder Pouch. Price $4.98. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. In a high-exertion tactical environment, that timeline shrinks drastically. Carrying water isn't optional, it's mandatory, but water is heavy and water bottles are awkward. You don't want a heavy liter of water swinging around your neck on a strap, and you don't want it burying itself at the bottom of a backpack where you can't reach it. This pouch utilizes the modular, lightweight load-carrying equipment MOLLE system. The back of the pouch features snap straps that weave into the webbing on your tactical backpack, plate carrier, or battle belt. This locks the hydration source to the outside of your kit, freeing up internal volume for things that need to stay dry, like clothes and electronics. Priced at $4.98, this is a heavy-duty nylon solution that fits standard 32 ounces Nalgene bottles, metal canteens, or even large insulated thermoses. It features a drawstring top with a cord lock to secure the neck of the bottle so it doesn't bounce out while you are running. But here is the versatility hack. It's not just for water. Because of its cylindrical shape and padding, this pouch is excellent for carrying sensitive gear like a telephoto camera lens, a tightly rolled rain poncho, or even a stash of magazines for a rifle. Some versions on Temu include a small zippered front pocket, which is perfect for water purification tablets or electrolyte packets. It creates a self-contained hydration station on your hip. The mesh bottom usually found on these allows for drainage, so if your bottle sweats or it rains, the pouch doesn't fill up with water and become a heavy brick. Number 22. Solar Fire Starter Parabolic Mirror. Price $1.89. Fire is life. It cooks food, boils water, signals for help, and keeps predators away. Traditional lighters run out of fuel. Matches get wet. Ferro rods require dexterity and practice. This device uses the raw power of physics to create ignition, and it never runs out of fuel as long as the sun is shining. For $1.89, you get a concave, parabolic mirror dish. If you remember your high school physics, a parabola focuses all incoming parallel rays of light to a single, intense focal point. This device has a small prong or spring holder right at that focal point. You place a piece of tinder, dry grass, a piece of char cloth, or the tip of a cigarette into that holder and aim the dish at the sun. Within seconds, the concentrated solar energy raises the temperature at that tip to hundreds of degrees, causing instant combustion. It is windproof because there is no open flame to blow out until the tinder catches. It is waterproof because it's just a mirror and plastic. You can dunk it in a river, wipe it off, and it works immediately. It's incredibly lightweight and serves as a fantastic backup to your primary fire methods. It also doubles as a signal mirror. The highly reflective surface can flash sunlight at passing aircraft or search and rescue teams miles away. It's a silent, fuel-free way to harness a nuclear explosion to sun to start your campfire. The only downside is it requires direct sunlight, so it's not a night ops tool, but for daytime survival, it is unbeatable efficiency. Number 21, key-shaped folding knife. Price $1.98. We end this first segment with a masterclass in concealment. If you look at someone's keychain, your brain ignores the clutter. Keys are jagged, metallic, and numerous. Adding one more key to the ring is invisible to the casual observer. This gadget mimics the profile, thickness, and finish of a standard house key. However, the top edge folds out to reveal 1.5 to 2-inch blade. At $1.98, the steel is typically a basic stainless alloy, easy to sharpen and resistant to corrosion. While you aren't going to be batoning firewood or fighting off a bear with this, that isn't its purpose. This is a last-ditch tool or a utility blade for non-permissive environments. In a self-defense context, having a small edge is better than having no edge. It can be used to slash at grabbing hands or create space, but its daily utility is where it shines. We encounter plastic packaging, loose threads, and sealed boxes every day. Pulling out a massive tactical folder in an office break room scares people. Unfolding a key from your keyring to slice some tape is socially acceptable and discreet. It locks securely in the open position, usually with a lockback mechanism, preventing it from snapping shut on your fingers. Because it lives on your keys, you literally never leave home without it. It solves the biggest problem in everyday carry: actually having the tool with you when you need it. It's the ultimate backup blade that disappears until it's time to work. Number 20, tactical visor panel. Price $6.99. Your vehicle's more than just transportation. In a survival situation, it is your mobile base of operations, your escape pod, and your temporary shelter. Yet, most people treat the driver's seat like a garbage bin. If you get pulled over, or if you crash into a ditch at night, digging through a center console filled with old receipts and ketchup packets to find a flashlight or your registration is a failure of preparedness, you need what the military calls immediate accessibility. This organizer transforms the completely wasted space on your sun visor into a command center. For $6.99, it wraps around the visor using heavy-duty Velcro straps that are universally adjustable to fit anything from a compact sedan to a lifted truck. The panel is covered in a grid of elastic loops and sometimes MOLLE-compatible webbing. This allows you to mount critical gear right above your forehead. Think about the workflow of an emergency. You crash, the car is filling with smoke. You reach up, muscle memory takes over. In one slot, you have a glass breaker tool. In another, a seatbelt cutter. Next to that, a high-lumen pen light to assess injuries. There is also a transparent sleeve for your license, registration, and insurance. If you are stopped at a checkpoint, you aren't reaching into a glove box, which can look suspicious to law enforcement. You are simply flipping the visor down. It keeps your hands visible and your movements predictable. The rigid backing prevents the gear from sagging, keeping everything tight and flush against the roof. It is the cheapest way to tacticalize a civilian vehicle without making it look like a tank from the outside. Number 19, Ultrasonic Dog Chaser, $5.98. We prepare for human threats, muggers, intruders, thieves, but statistically, you are highly likely to encounter an aggressive animal, specifically dogs, whether in an urban environment or out on a trail. Delivery drivers and cyclists know this terror well. A loose territorial canine can cause life-altering damage in seconds. Using pepper spray on a dog is effective but messy, and shooting a dog carries massive legal and moral weight. You need a deterrent that bridges the gap between shouting and lethal force. This handheld device operates on a frequency of around 25,000 Hz, 25 kilohertzes. The average human ear stops hearing at 20 kilohertzes, meaning this device is completely silent to you and the people around you. To a dog, however, whose hearing range extends far beyond ours, the sound emitted by this $5.98 gadget is like a jet engine screaming next to their head. It creates immense auditory pressure and discomfort without causing permanent physical damage. It usually features two modes, a training mode, which is a lower intensity used to correct bad behavior like barking, and a repel mode, which unleashes the full decibel load. Many models also incorporate strobe lights that flash rapidly. When a dog charges, the combination of the blinding strobe and the ultrasonic scream overloads their sensory input, often causing them to stop dead in their tracks or retreat in confusion. It fits in a pocket or clips to a belt. It's a humane, battery-operated force field that keeps you safe without requiring you to hurt the animal physically. It is a must-have for joggers. Number 18, Tactical Skull Half Mask. $4.49. Let's talk about the psychological aspect of conflict. In a riot, airsoft game, or a breakdown of civil order, protecting your face is priority number one, but projecting the right image is a close second. Fear is a weapon. If you look like a victim, you are treated like one. If you look like a nightmare, people tend to give you a wide berth. This rigid polymer mask covers the lower half of your face, nose, mouth, and jawline, molded into the shape of a skeletal grin. At $4.49, it is primarily designed for impact protection. It stops BBs, debris, and low-velocity fragments from knocking out your teeth. Dental work is expensive. This mask is cheap. The design features a steel mesh or heavy ventilation ports around the mouth area. This is crucial because standard solid masks trap heat and carbon dioxide, causing your goggles to fog up and your stamina to drop. This breathable design keeps air flowing while stopping solid objects. Beyond the physical protection, the skull motif serves as intimidation gear. It depersonalizes the wearer. In a defensive scenario, hiding your identity and emotion can be an advantage. It attaches via an adjustable elastic twin strap system that wraps around the back of the skull, compatible with most tactical helmets and ear protection headsets. Inside, there is usually foam padding on the cheeks and nose bridge to absorb the shock of an impact. It's aggressive, it's durable, and it ensures that if you take a hit to the face, you're walking away with a headache rather than a missing incisor. Number 17, Hidden Zipper Security Money Belt, $4.49. The gray man theory of survival suggests that the best camouflage isn't green and brown paint, it's looking completely average. You want to look like a tourist, a commuter, a nobody. But being a nobody makes you a target for pickpockets, especially in travel hubs. A wallet in your back pocket is a donation to the local thief guild. You need a stash they can't find even if they bump into you. This item looks, feels, and functions exactly like a standard, generic nylon webbing belt. It holds your pants up, that is all anyone sees. However, on the inner face of the belt, the side pressing against your waist, there is a hidden zipper running nearly the entire length of the strap. Opening this reveals a long, slender compartment perfectly sized for folded cash, emergency gold coins, a spare house key, or micro SD cards containing encrypted copies of your essential documents. For $4.49, this is the ultimate travel insurance. Even if you are mugged and forced to hand over your wallet and phone, the attacker will almost never demand your belt. It stays on you. The buckle is typically made of high-strength hardened plastic rather than metal. This is a deliberate design choice. It is airport friendly. You can often walk through metal detectors without taking it off, meaning your emergency funds never leave your body. The nylon webbing is incredibly strong, often rated for hundreds of pounds of tensile strength, so in a pinch, it can be used as a tourniquet, a tie-down strap, or a rescue rope. It's covert storage that dual hats as survival gear. Number 16. LED fingerless flashlight gloves. $3.98. We have all been there, trying to fix a leak under the sink, change a tire on the side of a dark highway, or tie a knot in low light. You have one hand on the tool, one hand on the object, and 0 hands left to hold the flashlight. You end up holding it in your mouth, drooling on the aluminum, or propping it up on a rock only for it to roll away. You need light where your hands are, not where your head is pointing. These gloves turn you into a cyborg. Made from a stretchy, breathable, neoprene-like fabric, they slip over your thumb and index finger, securing around the wrist with a Velcro strap. Mounted on the knuckles of the thumb and pointer finger are 2 high-output LED diodes. Powered by small coin cell batteries housed in a slim casing on the back of the hand, they blast light exactly where your fingertips are working. At $3.98, this is a mechanic's dream and a survivalist's necessity. Unlike a headlamp, which casts shadows when your hands move in front of your face, these lights eliminate shadows because the source is on the hand itself. They are fingerless, so you retain full tactile dexterity for handling small screws, triggers, or medical supplies. They are water resistant enough to handle rain or sweaty work. Whether you are baiting a hook at 4 a.m. or repairing a generator during a blackout, these gloves give you the superpower of luminescent hands. It simplifies complex tasks in the dark, reducing frustration and the time exposed to danger. Number 15, Tactical Glove Holder Clip. $1.29. Speaking of gloves, let's address a logistical failure point. Gloves are bulky. When you take them off to use a touchscreen or eat, where do they go? You stuff them in a back pocket, they fall out, you leave them on a table, you forget them, or you shove them in a helmet, they get sweaty. In a tactical environment, if you lose your gloves, you lose the ability to safely handle hot weapon barrels, climb razor wire fences, or move debris. Use it or lose it is a real problem. This simple, injection-molded polymer clip solves that problem for $1.29. It is essentially a heavy-duty, oversized alligator clamp with a locking bite. One end grabs the cuffs of your gloves, whether they are thick winter mittens or thin shooting gloves, and holds them in a death grip. The other end features a carabiner or belt loop attachment that snaps onto your belt, vest, or bag. The genius is in the breakaway safety feature. Most of these are designed to snap open if snagged with significant force, usually over 15 pounds. This prevents you from getting dragged into machinery or hung up on a branch if the gloves get caught while you are moving. It keeps your hand protection dangling at your hip, ready to be deployed in 1 second, but securely stowed when you need bare hand dexterity. It is one of those tiny quality of life upgrades that professionals swear by because it enforces gear accountability. You never have to ask, "Where are my gloves?" They are right there. Number 14, Infrared Motion Sensor Travel Alarm. Price $9.48. Security isn't just about locks. Locks can be picked, bumped, or kicked. Security is about warning. You need time to react. If you are sleeping in a motel, a hostel, or even a tent, you are vulnerable. You can't stay awake 24/7 on guard duty. You need an electronic sentry that never blinks. This compact device uses passive infrared technology, the same tech used in expensive home security systems, packed into a portable battery-operated unit the size of a deck of cards. For $9.48, it creates an invisible thermal tripwire. You hang it on the inside doorknob of your room or place it on a table facing the window. The sensor looks for rapid changes in heat signatures, like a human body entering a room. When the beam is broken, it doesn't just beep politely, it unleashes a 100+ decibel siren. This serves 2 functions. First, it wakes you up instantly, pumping you full of adrenaline so you can grab your defense tool. Second, and more importantly, it terrifies the intruder. Criminals thrive on silence and surprise. A shrieking alarm shatters both. Most intruders will flee immediately rather than stick around to see who is waking up. Some models also feature a built-in LED flashlight, so when the alarm goes off, you can grab the device and use it to investigate. It's a portable perimeter defense system that ensures you are never caught sleeping. Number 13, a coin-shaped mini folding knife. $2.48. We are kicking off the top 13 with a piece of spycraft that looks like it rolled right out of a vending machine. In the world of everyday carry, EDC, the biggest enemy is bulk. People stop carrying pocket knives because they are heavy, they tear up pants pockets, or they look aggressive in a corporate environment. If you work in an office where pulling out a tactical blade to open a letter gets you a visit from HR, you need a cutting tool that hides in plain sight. This device is engineered to look exactly like a thick challenge coin or a random medallion. It is a perfect circle, typically made of anodized aluminum or steel, often with a drilled hole to sit innocuously on a keychain alongside your car fob. But the design is deceptive. With a deliberate pinch and a folding motion, a hawkbill-style blade, usually about 1 inch in length, rotates out from the center housing. For $2.48, you are acquiring a blade that leverages rotational mechanics for stability. Because the handle is circular, when you grip it, the back of the coin presses into your palm while your fingers wrap around the edge, providing a surprisingly secure grip for such a tiny object. This isn't a combat knife, obviously. You aren't fighting off ninjas with this. But for urban utility, slicing through heavy zip ties, cutting seatbelts, opening blister packs, or stripping wire, it is exceptionally capable. The curve of the blade pulls material into the cut rather than pushing it away, which is safer when applying force with a small tool. Furthermore, its benign appearance is its greatest tactical asset. If you toss your keys into a tray at a security checkpoint non-airport, of course, a coin knife often registers as just a decorative fob. It doesn't scream weapon. It allows you to maintain a level of preparedness in non-permissive environments where visible clips or bulges would be unacceptable. It is the definition of a sleeper tool zero-threat profile until it is deployed. Number 12. Tactical MOLLE Admin Pouch. Price $6.99. Let's talk about fighting loadouts. If you have a tactical backpack or a plate carrier, you probably have a lot of specialized pouches. Mag pouches, medical pouches, radio pouches. But where do you put the admin stuff? The maps, the pens, the compass, the spare batteries, the multi-tool? Usually, these small critical items get dumped into a main compartment where they sink to the bottom, lost forever in the black hole of your bag. This chest-mounted organizer is the solution to gear chaos. It is a specialized, clamshell opening workspace that attaches to the front of your vest or pack via MOLLE straps. When you unzip the heavy-duty dual zippers, the front panel folds down 90 degrees, held in place by internal paracord limiters. This essentially creates a field desk on your chest. You can look down and see everything you need without holding it. At $6.99, this is an organizational force multiplier. The interior is lined with elastic loops of varying sizes, specifically designed to hold chemical lights, tactical pens, and flashlights securely so they don't rattle. There is usually a transparent waterproof sleeve for a map or ID card, allowing you to navigate hands-free. The exterior face often features a Velcro field for morale patches or blood type identifiers. But the real value is in accessibility under stress. If you are in a high-pressure situation, maybe providing first aid or fixing a vehicle in the rain, you don't want to be digging. You need your tools presented to you. This pouch puts your intellectual tools, maps, notebooks, and your utility tools, pliers, in the workspace triangle between your chin and your waist. It transforms a chaotic backpack into a disciplined command center. Number 11. Emergency Survival Tube Tent. $6.49. Hypothermia is the silent killer. It doesn't care how many guns you have or how tough you are. If your core body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit, you lose dexterity. Below 90 degrees, you lose consciousness. In a survival scenario, say a broken ankle on a hiking trail or a car stranded in a blizzard, your clothes are not enough. You need shelter, and you need it fast. Building a debris hut takes hours and calories you might not have. This item is a pocket-sized life insurance policy against the cold. Packed down, it is smaller than a soda can. Deployed, it is an 8-foot-long tube made of extra-thick aluminized polyethylene material. This is not just plastic, it is a reflective thermal barrier derived from NASA technology. The silver coating reflects up to 90% of your radiated body heat back at you, creating a microclimate inside the tent that can be 20 to 30 degrees warmer than the outside air. For $6.49, you get a shelter that sets up in under 2 minutes. You simply run the included paracord through the tube, tie it between 2 trees, and crawl inside. Because it is a tube design rather than an A-frame with open ends, it blocks wind from all sides, though you need to ensure ventilation to prevent condensation buildup. The material is waterproof, windproof, and tear-resistant. A critical, often overlooked feature is the color. Most of these on Temu come in safety orange. In a rescue situation, visibility is everything. A camouflage tent hides you from rescuers. A bright orange 8-foot reflector makes you visible to helicopters and search teams from miles away. It serves a dual purpose: survival, shelter, and massive distress signal. It's light enough that there is absolutely no excuse not to have one in your car's glove box and your hiking pack. Number 10. Self-Defense Leather Coin Sap. $7.99. We are entering the legal gray area of self-defense, which is often where the most effective tools live. History tells us about the blackjack or slapjack, a weighted leather-wrapped lead weight used by police and bouncers for decades to incapacitate subjects with a non-lethal strike. Those are illegal in many jurisdictions now, but a coin purse? That is just a financial accessory. This product is a heavy, double-stitched leather pouch designed specifically to hold a large quantity of coins. It features a fold-over flap that secures with a snap button or heavy Velcro. When empty, it is just a floppy piece of leather. But when you fill it with quarters or heavy washers, it transforms into a dense, kinetic energy weapon that weighs nearly a pound. Priced at $7.99, this is a loophole gadget. It capitalizes on the physics of a flexible impact weapon. Because the weight, the coins, is at the end of a flexible handle, the leather strap. A flick of the wrist generates tremendous centrifugal force. A strike to a major muscle group like the bicep or thigh can cause a Charlie horse so severe it renders the limb useless instantly. The beauty of the design is its plausible deniability. If you are stopped by law enforcement, you are simply a person carrying change for the parking meter or laundry. It doesn't look like a weapon, it looks like a retro accessory. However, the leather is reinforced to prevent it from bursting open upon impact. It usually includes a belt loop or a sturdy lanyard so you can stage it for a quick draw. It is an old-school street fighting concept modernized for the ambiguous legal landscape of 2024. Just remember, it is a defensive tool, and carrying it filled with lead shot instead of coins might change its legal classification in your state, so stick to currency. Number 9. Helmet Signal Strobe Light. Price $7.99. In the chaos of a night operation, a blackout, or a search and rescue mission, the biggest danger often isn't the enemy or the elements, it's friendly fire or simply getting lost from your group. You need a way to say, "I am here," without screaming and giving away your position to everyone within earshot. You need IFF, identification friend or foe. This device is a compact, silicone-encased strobe light designed to mount directly to the Velcro fields found on modern tactical helmets, plate carriers, or backpacks. For $7.99, it offers a level of durability that standard flashlights can't match. The entire unit is sealed in a waterproof resin, making it submersible and virtually crush-proof. It usually runs on a CR2032 watch battery, which provides hundreds of hours of runtime because LEDs sip power. The tactical genius here is the functionality. It typically has two modes, a constant on for low-level admin light and a high-intensity strobe for signaling. The strobe is visible for over a mile under night vision goggles, or to the naked eye depending on the color you choose, IR, red, green, or blue. If you are hiking with a group at night, the person in front wears this on the back of their pack. It allows the person behind to follow the blinking beacon through thick woods without using high-beam flashlights that ruin night vision. In a disaster scenario, like a flood, attaching this to your life vest makes you visible to rescue boats in the pitch black. It's a set-it-and-forget-it beacon that ensures you remain a dot on the map when the lights go out. Number 8. Double-locking nylon flex cuffs, $4.99. Let's be real about the darker side of preparedness. In a total grid-down scenario, civil unrest, or a home invasion where you have successfully subdued an intruder, you face a complex problem. What do you do with them? You cannot hold a person at gunpoint or knife point forever. You need sleep. You need to tend to the wounded. You need a way to restrain a threat securely and humanely until authorities can arrive. Standard zip ties from the hardware store are dangerous and ineffective. They can be snapped with a friction saw technique, and they tighten only one way, meaning if the person struggles, the tie can ratchet down and cut off circulation, causing necrosis and opening you up to liability. These $4.99 specialized flex cuffs are the professional solution used by riot police and military units worldwide. They feature a double cuff design, meaning there are two separate loops for the wrists, connected by a reinforced bridge. This limits the range of motion far more effectively than a single loop. Crucially, they have a double locking mechanism. Once you set the tightness, you can engage the lock so the cuffs cannot get tighter, preventing injury to the detainee. They are made from high-tensile nylon that is resistant to UV light and temperature extremes. Unlike steel handcuffs, which are heavy, rattle, and require a key that you might lose, flex cuffs are feather-light. You can carry 3 or 4 of them in a back pocket or woven into your MOLLE gear for the weight of a single steel pair. They are disposable, sanitary, and rapid to deploy. In a chaotic world, the ability to control a threat without lethal force is a critical capability, and these provide that option. Number 7. Electronic High Decibel Whistle. $5.99. We tend to think of whistles as low-tech plastic tubes, but the traditional whistle has a fatal flaw. It requires breath. If you are sprinting away from an attacker, hyperventilating from panic, or suffering from a crushed rib cage after a car accident, you might not have the lung capacity to blow a whistle loud enough to be heard. Furthermore, in a post-pandemic world, putting your mouth on a piece of gear that has been dangling on your dirty backpack strap is a hygiene nightmare. This battery-operated device solves the biological bottleneck. At the push of a button, it emits a piercing, consistent 125 decibel screech. For context, a chainsaw is about 110 decibels. 125 decibels is the threshold of pain. For $5.99, you have a signaling device that never gets tired. You can hold the button down and it will scream at maximum volume for as long as the batteries last, freeing you to focus on breathing or fighting. The sound is generated by a piezoelectric speaker, which is incredibly durable and resistant to shock. Unlike a pea whistle, which can freeze in winter or get clogged with mud, this electronic version works in all conditions. It usually comes with multiple tone settings. One tone mimics a traditional referee whistle, another might be a continuous siren. This is a massive game changer for solo females or elderly individuals. It requires zero fine motor skills to operate just a gross motor squeeze of the hand. If you are trapped under rubble after an earthquake, you can tap the button rhythmically to signal SOS with minimal energy expenditure. It cuts through wind noise, traffic, and rain better than a human scream ever could. It is the evolution of the distress signal. Number 6. Grimlock Locking D-rings 4-pack. Price $2.99. At number 6, we have a piece of hardware that solves the rattle factor. In a tactical environment, noise is death. Standard metal carabiners are great for climbing, but when you clip them to a backpack, they clang against your canteen, your zipper pulls, and your rifle stock. You sound like a walking wind chime. You need gear that secures your loadout silently. Enter the Grimlock for $2.99 a pack. These are high-strength Polymer D-rings designed specifically for the 1-inch webbing found on MOLLE gear. Unlike a standard carabiner, which just relies on a spring gate, the Grimlock features a distinct locking detent mechanism. You push the button, snap the gate shut, and it stays shut. Because it is made of Gillytech's IR reduction polymer, it makes zero noise when it bangs against other gear. It is stealthy by design. But the real pro tip usage here is cable management. If you run a hydration bladder with a drinking tube or a radio with a shoulder mic, those cables love to snag on tree branches and door frames. A snagged cable can rip the radio off your vest or jerk your head back violently. The Grimlock is designed to be a breakaway point for these lines. You route your hydration tube through the D-ring. It holds it securely in place on your shoulder strap so the mouthpiece is always ready. However, if that tube gets caught on a moving vehicle or a dense thicket, the Grimlock is engineered to break away at a specific torque pressure, saving your neck from injury and your expensive electronics from being ripped apart. It is a sacrificial part that protects the operator. Number 5. Hairbrush Diversion Safe Price. $6.98. We talked about the wall clock safe earlier for home defense, but what about when you are mobile? If you are traveling through Europe, staying in hostels, or hitting the gym, you cannot bring a wall clock with you. You need a diversion safe that belongs in a travel bag. You need something so mundane, so personal, that a thief would feel gross touching it. This hairbrush diversion safe is a masterpiece of social engineering. To the naked eye, and even to the touch, it is a fully functional hairbrush. The bristles are real, you can actually style your hair with it. This is critical because if a thief picks it up, it needs to feel right. If it feels like a hollow plastic toy, the gig is up. At $6.98, the build quality is surprisingly dense. The secret lies in the handle. The end cap of the brush unscrews usually with a reverse thread to prevent accidental opening, revealing a cylindrical storage tube that runs deep into the head of the brush. This space is perfectly dimensioned to hold a tight roll of $100 bills, a USB drive with your crypto keys, or even small jewelry. Why a hairbrush? Because of the gross factor. Thieves are in a rush. They rifle through bags looking for wallets, cameras, and laptops. They might dump out a toiletry bag, but they rarely investigate used hygiene products. A hairbrush full of fake or real hair is a psychological barrier. They push it aside to look for the good stuff, never realizing they just tossed aside the most valuable item in the bag. It is the perfect hide-in-plain-sight tool for the solo traveler. Number 4. Tactical ID card holder lanyard, and $3.49. Most corporate ID holders are flimsy pieces of clear plastic that crack after a week. They are useless dangleberries that offer zero utility. But in the tactical world, every ounce of gear must earn its keep. If you have to wear an ID badge around your neck, that badge holder better do more than just display your name. This $3.49 upgrade is a hard-shell, resine composite chassis. It doesn't just hold your ID, it armors it. The card slides into a locking frame that prevents it from falling out even if you are running or wrestling, but the tactical value is hidden in the frame itself. Many of these models on Temu feature a subtle, integrated geometric structure that allows the holder to double as a makeshift impact tool or a scraper. The lanyard isn't just a shoelace. It's often made of 550 paracord, which can be unraveled in an emergency to provide 7 feet of high-strength cordage for tying tourniquets or lashing gear. Some advanced versions of this holder even include a tiny hidden whistle built into the buckle and a tungsten-tipped glass breaker embedded in the corner of the card frame. Think about the gray man application again. You are in an office building. An active threat situation occurs. You need to break a window to escape. You don't have a hammer. You take off your ID badge, grip the hardshell chassis, and use the integrated breaker point to shatter the safety glass. It transforms a symbol of corporate drudgery into a tool of escape. It also features a privacy window, a sliding cover that you can flick over your ID photo when you leave the office, so you aren't broadcasting your name and employer to everyone on the subway. Number 3. Tungsten Carbide Window Breaker Wristband, $2.48. We mentioned the window breaker in the ID holder, but let's look at the most discreet James Bond level escape tool on this entire list. If you are kidnapped, zip-tied, or trapped in a sinking car, you might not be able to reach your pockets. You need a tool that is literally attached to your body. This gadget is deceptively simple. It looks like a tiny, harmless beaded bracelet. It consists of an elastic cord and a single, small bead. But that bead is made of tungsten carbide, one of the hardest materials on Earth, second only to diamond. It is the same material used in industrial drill bits to bore through steel. The mechanics of this $2.48 device are terrifyingly effective. You don't need strength to use it, you don't need to punch the window, you simply pull the bead back against the elastic snap, stretching it as far as it will go, usually 3 to 4 inches, and release it against the side window of a vehicle. The snap generates a massive amount of kinetic energy focused into that microscopic point of the tungsten bead. When it hits the tempered glass side windows, not the windshield, it creates a shock wave that exceeds the surface tension of the glass. The result is instant catastrophic failure of the window. The glass explodes outwards. This is a favorite among special operations and travelers in high-risk zones because it is completely non-threatening. You can wear it next to a watch or a friendship bracelet, and no security guard will look twice at it. It has no blade, no electronics, and no metal mass. Yet it gives you the ability to exit a locked vehicle in under 1 second. Just a warning, do not test this on your own car windows for fun. It works and you will be buying a new window. Number 2, portable Adelock style privacy door lock, $3.98. Security breaches often happen because we trust locks that we shouldn't. Hotel room locks are notoriously easy to bypass. Master keys exist, housekeeping has access, electronic key cards can be cloned. Even in a rental property or an Airbnb, you have no idea who has a copy of the key. You need a way to mechanically seize the door from the inside, making it physically impossible to open, even with a key. This device is a heavy-gauge steel plate shaped to fit into the strike plate of a standard door frame. You insert the metal claws into the strike plate, close the door, and then slide a red wedge-shaped handle down into the metal slot. This creates a geometric lock. The force of someone pushing on the door from the outside is transferred directly into the door frame, not the latch. For $3.98, you are buying peace of mind. Even if someone picks the lock, bumps the keyhole, or uses a master passkey, the door cannot open because this device is bracing it shut. It withstands massive amounts of force, far more than a standard chain lock or deadbolt. It is pocket-sized and installs in seconds without tools. You don't need to drill holes or modify the door. For solo female travelers, this is non-negotiable gear. But it's also a home defense asset. If you have a safe room in your house, this device allows you to fortify that room instantly. If you are sheltering in place during a break-in, you slap this on the bedroom door and you have just bought yourself the precious minutes needed to call 911 or prepare your defense. It turns a hollow core interior door into a barricade. Number 1, baseball bat LED flashlight. Price $8.99. Here it is. The number 1 spot, the game changer. We have talked about lights and we have talked about impact weapons. This device marries them into a single, brutalist piece of aluminum engineering that sits right by your bedside or next to your driver's seat. This is not a plastic toy. It is a heavy-duty, anodized aluminum baton machined in the shape of a baseball bat with a high-lumen Cree LED emitter embedded in the head. At $8.99, it is a steal for the amount of metal you are getting. Let's break down the tactical triad this tool offers: reach, blindness, and impact. First, reach. In a self-defense encounter, distance is life. You never want to let an attacker get within grappling range. This baton is typically 12 to 16 inches long. That gives you over a foot of extra reach, allowing you to strike or block an incoming attack while keeping your body further away from the threat. Second, blindness. The flashlight on this thing is powerful, often boasting 500 plus lumens with a strobe function. If you shine that into someone's eyes in a dark hallway, their visual purple is bleached out instantly, they are blind. They can't see you, they can't see your hands, and they can't see the strike coming. It buys you the OODA loop advantage. Observe, orient, decide, act. Third, impact. The aluminum body is weighted. It features aggressive knurling on the handle for a non-slip grip, even with sweaty hands. The head often has a spiked or crenulated bezel. A strike with this tool carries the full weight of the metal body behind it. It is a bone breaker. Unlike a knife, which requires lethal intent, or a gun, which requires deadly force justification, this is a scalar tool. You can use it just to light up a room. You can use it to warn someone off, or, if necessary, you can use it to deliver a non-lethal but incapacitating strike. It looks like a flashlight, so keeping it in your car door doesn't raise eyebrows like a machete would. It is the ultimate stay away from me tool. There you have it, 27 verified, legal, and surprisingly effective gadgets from Temu that prove you don't need a military budget to upgrade your survival kit. From the covert hairbrush safe to the heavy-hitting baseball bat flashlight, these tools offer real-world solutions to real-world threats.